Welcome to Architrave Gaming, I'm the Archmaster. Alright, today, short video. We are telling you about what we are hard at working on in Arches and Avatars, the next iteration, the next version of A&A, still technically a playtest, Beta 0.1. So, we are working on elemental damage types. Elemental damage type effects, and not simply just elemental, it's all of them except mundane, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. So, to start, Acid. Acid damage reduces future effort restored until the total reduced equals the damage taken. What that means is, when you get hit with acid, like from a gelatinous cube, he engulfs you and whatnot, you take, 10 points of acid damage, you also take negative 10 effort, which means the next 10 effort that you would restore from resting, you don't get, right? It's because your character, you're covered in acid, right? You have burns, you can't sleep well, you can't rest and fully recover, right? So, even something like a gelatinous cube, something just so minor, is actually scary because it's like, oh man, if we get hit by this thing in a dungeon, we can't rest and regain stuff in the dungeon. Yeah, we can still get HP, but we can't regain our effort, right? It actually lends a tactical choice. If you're like, okay, do we, go down the corridor with the zombies or the corridor with the gelatinous cube? How much effort do we have? Do we have potions, etc.? It gives you opportunity for a tactical choice. And as GM, you can say, hey, let's, take down their effort. Let's take down a bit of this, a bit of that. You can use different damage types, and it actually makes it tactical for the players, tactical for the GM, and it makes monsters actually scary. Because it's like, oh no, it's a gelatinous cube, run! Because there's a specific thing to fear. If every monster does is just take away HP, then no particular monster is particularly scary, except if they just take more HP than another. So, yeah, this makes it better, in my opinion, which is why we're doing it. Next, Cold. Every 5 points of cold damage reduces a creature's speed by 5 feet for 1 round. Every 10 damage removes one of their actions for 1 round. So, you hit someone with 15 points of cold damage, and you reduce their speed by 15 feet for a round, as they're like frozen in place and whatnot. And if you do 20, you take all their movement away, and they're just stuck. Right? That's super cool. Also, every 10 points of damage, in addition to the 5, also takes away one of their actions. So you hit them with 10 points of damage, you take away 10 feet of their movement and one of their next actions because they move more slowly. It's cool. Cold damage actually does something specific if you want to play a mage or even marshals, because marshals have, enchanted weapons with frost damage on them. If you want to play someone who's using magic of any type, then you can actually say, hey, let's use this damage or that damage type against this enemy because, oh, that enemy's really fast, let's reduce his speed. Oh, this enemy has a lot of actions, let's take one of those away. It actually, gives you options in addition to regular cold damage. And also GMs, you get options. You actually get to have fun using cool stuff against your players instead of just, oh, more damage, right? It's like, nah, I can, it feels so fun to actually, like, do stuff, right? Players and GMs to actually hit the other and be like, gotcha, right? It kind of feels fun. That's why we play. We want to destroy the monsters. We want to challenge our players. We want our players to be like, oh no, I'm reduced. It's like, yes, we love that. It's kind of the maniacal bit of being a GM. Anyway, fire damage. For every 5 points of fire damage, imposes a -3 penalty to all d20 rolls for 1 round. So you're on fire. Yeah! You can't do anything. Everything you do has a -3 penalty. Fire's pretty cool. Players are like, let's use fire on everything. Give everyone, stacking -3. Like, that would be super cool, right? Force damage. Every 5 points of force damage shoves the target 5 feet away from the source of the damage. A critical hit knocks the target prone. So if there's an enemy that's like charging at you, yeah, you can hit them with, fire or lightning or other things, but it's like, let me just push you back so you can't move toward me. Or someone's on the edge of a cliff, force damage, it actually knocks them back every 5 feet. You don't need a specific other spell. If you're hitting someone with magic missile and you're doing force damage, it should move them. It should actually have an effect. Anyway, lightning. Every 5 points of lightning damage removes 1 action from the creature's current or next turn, whichever comes first. A critical hit paralyzes the target for 1 round. What that means is if there's an enemy who's like, using their actions and they're like, you really don't like the fact that they're action comboing or anything really, you can just like, and like freeze them for a second so they lose an action. You can hit them with multiple points of damage so they're stuck there, paralyzed, frozen for longer. It's really cool. Thunder damage. This one's kind of weak one. I'm probably gonna fix this because it doesn't actually matter in combat very much. Every 5 points of damage deafens the target for a certain amount of time, which is just, okay. I'll probably do something else with that. Alright, other damage types. Arcane damage. Yes. Arcanists can use arcane damage. Arcane damage, and this is workshopping just for now. Arcane damage lowers the spell slot or mana used by the target of the attack during their arcane spellcasting by 1 spell level for every 5 points of damage, or by 1 mana for every point of damage. So, if you see someone casting a spell at 5th level, and you hit them with 10 arcane damage, they cast their spell at 3rd level. You can cast it as a reaction, and it lowers their spell, because your arcane damage is disrupting their arcana, right? Doesn't work with all types of magic, or thrum, or resonance. Only works with arcane magic, but still, that's really cool. It's like a counterspell, but it's not a full 100% totally every time I just take away your action counterspell. It's like, no, I'm going to reduce that down, right? And if they're using mana points instead of spell slot, because some aspects, some subclasses use mana instead of spell slots, then it would just be, 1-to-1 lower your mana. At least that's what we're doing for now. Poison damage. Okay, one of my favorite things about one of my favorite damage types is poison damage. But in order for this to make sense, I have to tell you something about temporary HP. So the whole point of temporary HP is that you have, like if you have temp HP and you take damage, it affects the temp HP first. I say, if you take any healing, it should also affect temp HP first. Well, healing doesn't give temp HP, right? Aha. So, in my system, you can have negative HP, which means you can have negative temporary HP. The way you get that is, if a creature has no temp HP, they receive negative temp HP equal to the poison damage taken. So, you do, someone just has, 20 HP normally, right? And 0 temp HP, right? You do 10 points of damage to them, 10 points of poison. Well, in addition to their regular 20 being dropped down to 10, because you did 10 points of damage, they also get negative temp HP. 10 points of negative temporary HP. We're saying temp, and temp a lot. So that means they, like any healing done to them, first takes that negative 10 temporary HP and brings it up to 0, and then it will apply to your regular HP. So that means if you want to assassinate someone and you want to make sure they stay down and the healer nearby can't get them up, then you go and you poison them so that the healer's like, oh, let me sit here and heal you. Like, oh, it's not working. It's like, yeah, you're just purging the poison from their system. You're not actually healing the wound yet. You're just removing the negative temporary HP up to 0. And so now you need even more to actually heal them. That puts a delay on healing. No longer is it, oh, healing word, you're up. It's like, no. That healing word just got rid of some of their negative temporary HP. You gotta keep going. It's like, oh no, like it puts pressure on. I think poison, the mechanic of it is just so cool. You get negative temporary HP equal to, so good. I really like it. Alright, psychic damage. For every 5 points every point of psychic damage also reduces aptitude by 1. Every 5 points of psychic damage forces the target to waste a think action. So, you take 5 points of psychic damage and it's like, all right, you spent a think action. You can't use it. You have three more actions on your turn and you already spent one on think doing nothing because it's like, my head hurts. And that's, they force you to spend it. So psychic damage is really good against casters who are using their think actions and whatnot. It's good against tacticians and people who are using a lot of intelligence skill check, right? You can actually use different types against different enemies and it matters. Okay. Next, we have Soulburn. Like Soulburn. Soulburn does not affect HP, but rather removes devotion from soul shards. So, in my system, you can have devotion to an ideal, and the light and concept and power of that ideal goes into your soul. And so, it can fill up various soul shards with that power, and you get various abilities in game from it. So, when a creature takes total soul burn damage equal to their willpower score, they lose devotion in a random soul shard. A critical hit destroys a random soul shard. You don't want to get hit by soul burn if you're like a cleric or someone who relies on your devotion. It's devastating. Alright, soul burn only applies to certain targets or creatures. So, radiant damage is soul burn. Because I never liked how it worked in 5e, where it's like, oh yeah, it's just like extra fire damage. It's really bright fire damage. It's like, no. You shouldn't be able to hit a good guy with radiant damage. It shouldn't do anything to him. He's devoted to good. He's a good guy. Like how does it hurt him, right? And so radiant damage only works against evil people and fiends and whatnot, which I've renamed in my system. But it's umbrals technically. There's celestials who are all about light and radiance, and there are umbrals who are all about darkness and whatnot. So opposite to radiant damage is umbral damage. Only works on celestials and celestial devotees, people who are devoted to one of the 8 positive ideals. And also every 5 points of celestial or every 5 points of radiant or umbral damage blinds the target for a round. So you're sitting there blinding them with light or blinding them with darkness. But yeah, it's like blind each other, remove your soul shards. It's super cool. Actual umbrals and celestials as actual beings are made up of soul shards that are devoted to, you know, celestial stuff or umbral stuff. So by removing devotion from their soul shard, you're literally just killing them. That's like removing their flesh or removing the blood from their flesh, right? So to them, it actually kills them. But to humanoids, it just removes devotion. So they're like, oh, I'm not evil anymore. Or, oh, I'm not good anymore. You hit me with umbral and you corrupted me and now I'm not good. And you can keep doing it. Ooh, that's a good idea. Maybe you can keep hitting them with radiant or umbral to like give them extra devotion. I don't know. That seems really overpowered. But anyway, there's a cool idea, something in there. All right. Now there are, last two, there are energy types. Energy types have additional effects that only apply to certain creature types. So, healing is now an energy, which, I mean, it always kind of was. Healing energy restores the HP of living creatures, and it damages undead. No longer can you just walk up to someone with a sword, hit a zombie with a sword, and he's like, oh, that hurts so much. I guess I'm gonna die. Oh, I have to pass a constitution check. I failed it. Okay, I guess I'm gonna die. No, you're not gonna die. They can stab you with a sword a million times. They can crush you and chop up your body, and eventually the necromantic energy infusing you, like whatever spell or energy it is going to pull you back together, and you're going to get up and you're going to keep going. Undead are terrifying because they're undead. Yes, undead and archers and avatars are actually going to be undead. They're actually going to be powerful and scary, and they're going to get up and keep going, and the only way to stop them is through something like healing, where it's like, I'm going to use life energy to combat the necrotic undead energy suffusing you. So you actually have to do healing to zombies in order to do damage to them, right? There are some undead who are actually, their soul remains in their body and it's being animated or controlled or whatnot. And so to them, it's not necromantic energy holding them up, it's soul. It's their soul actually holding them up. So you have to soul trap them, you know, kind of like Elder Scrolls, like Skyrim. So you have to go up and like soul trap them and then kill them and pull the soul out of them. And then they're finally dead, right? So those are two distinct types of undead, which are like technically, like, you could call them both undead if you want. I'm sure people in the world call them something different. But anyway, healing actually affects undead, and this is why you need clerics to fight undead. Now it makes sense, because clerics are the only ones with a lot of healing. So like, oh, go, you know, they're undead. Go call the cleric. Have them like do some healing radiant burst and whatnot. Take out the undead. It actually makes sense. It's cool now. And then, lastly, opposite of healing, necrotic damage. Necrotic damage reduces the target's max HP by half the amount of damage taken. A critical hit destroys a random body share. I'm not gonna tell you what body share does, because, you know, you can look at other videos for that. But yeah, half the amount taken. That makes necrotic damage extremely scary. Your max HP in ANA, you only have like 20 max HP at level 1. That's normal, and at level 10, it's maybe 25. It's not much. Like, you don't actually get a lot of HP as you play, because for balance reasons and whatnot, I think it makes more sense to have a regular amount of HP, and it barely increases as you level up, not much. So that means if you take 10 points of necrotic damage and your max health reduces by 5, or you take 20 damage and it reduces by 10, your max health is permanently down by 10 because you faced a zombie and got smacked, right? This makes even the lowest of undead, a zombie, actually scary. Can you imagine a horde of 30 zombies coming into a village? The players, the characters are like, no, we're not dealing with it. Call the cleric, this is bad, we gotta run, right? It actually makes zombies scary. I want them to be scary. I want it to actually be interesting and terrifying. And so, this is how you do it. Necrotic damage reduces your max HP by half the amount of necrotic damage taken. You get hit by necrotic too much and you just cannot restore health. That's another thing. You're hit with too much death energy and someone goes and tries to heal you, your max HP is 0 now. Like, over however long battle, however many times you fought and repaired and whatnot, your max HP is 0. You cannot be revived. Oh, that's so scary. Like, you're completely suffused with death and necrotic energy. Anyway, that's super cool. I really like it. It adds, you know, tactical choices in combat. It makes enemies scary. Players can use it. Enemies can use it. It actually makes the mundane moment-to-moment combat actually interesting, because it's like, oh no, what damage type? Oh no, we're you know, reduced speed, losing actions. You know, oh no, this will, you know, it's acid. It'll hurt my rest later. So many cool things. And it lets you actually just play around and have fun with it. And again, as with so many things with ANA, it's optional complexity. This system does not directly interface with any other system in the game, which means it's modular. You can just not use these rules. You can play it just like 5e and be like, yep, it's 10 points of damage. No different from 10 points of lightning, acid, bludgeoning, it's all the same, it's just damage, right? Unless someone has resistance. You could do that easily. If this seems too complex, if you don't want to deal with it, you don't have to. It's super simple. The one about healing and necrotic damage doing their thing, those are kind of, you know, important. But all the additional effects, the extra special things for all the rest of the damage types, you don't have to do them. You can just ignore them entirely. The game runs just fine. But because it's elegant design, these things will naturally interface with other parts of the game in indirect ways. It won't be that, hey, this thing, this other rule requires you use this rule. No. But it's this other rule will benefit if you use this rule. You'll have more depth in the game, better gameplay, better adventures, stuff like that, right? And so nothing directly requires it. You can absolutely just dispense with it if it seems too complicated. But yeah, really like elemental damage types. Still not sure about Thunder. Deafening, sure, but I don't want to just like thrust you away because that's just force damage. I don't want to also just say, well, it stuns you because it's like, ooh, stun, but then that's just lightning damage again because it takes away actions and stuns you. I'm not really sure about Thunder. Hardly anyone ever uses it anyway, so maybe deafening will be good enough because, the rare time it does come up and deafens everyone, that could have cool consequences. Anyway, thank you for watching, liking and subscribing. Feed the algorithm, please. I heard that views don't count anymore unless you like the video or comment or interact with it somehow, so hey. I have a Patreon if you want to help support the channel, and thank you to my single existing patron member, and thank you to my team who's actually helping me develop Arches and Avatars. We have 3 other people in the Discord helping develop stuff in the actual dev Discord. So yeah, join the Discord, sign up for fun. We are working on the actual beta release, which is going to go out for free to all of my all of the people on the Discord server. You're going to get the whole thing. Right now it's like 80 something pages, and it's probably going to be more because we're going to actually add more things. So a whole big thing, totally playable. I've been playing it for 2 years, and entirely playable. So like you can just get an early version of A&A. I mean, we could call it the first edition if we wanted. I'm going to call it a beta because I'm not satisfied with it, but you could get a really playable version of A&A for free by joining the Discord eventually, right? I intend it to be released by Thanksgiving, along with an adventure, and we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing, feeding the algorithm, and y'all have a good day. God bless.